Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the range. Tom here, and today we're doing a group build, and this one is Shelby's Diecast Customs, and her theme is Steampunk. We got this little group on Instagram that we've been putting out random builds each month, a different person, and Shelby got picked this time. So why don't we go ahead and let's get started. I'm not big on the theme punks deals. I'm not really um, cultured on it, I guess. But I had this casting. Honestly, this is like the third casting I picked to do a steampunk build because I could not get anything I wanted right. So I was going through my little junk bin and I found this casting just sitting in there, and I'm like, you know what? This looks like a good theme or good vehicle, good casting to do a steampunk because it kind of gives it that look. Well, I had a little trouble trying to figure out exactly what all I was going to do. I knew I had this motor I had from this Radio Flyer Hot Wheel. I took it out, chromed it up a little bit, made it look a little bit better to use for this casting. Like I said, I'm not really... Honestly, I almost thought about not doing this build, but then I just got this... I don't know, it just kind of happened. It just snapped in my head, and I was like, I know what I'm going to do. Found the casting, boom. Next thing you know, here I am building it. I was literally dumbfounded when it came to steampunk. I was doing research, and I'm like, steampunk's pretty much just a rat rod in a way, because it's building it out of all kinds of copper, stuff like that, brass, whatever they had around that time to do the steampunks. Excuse me. So, one thing about Shelby's, when she put out this little challenge, she said it had to have gears. Well, I got gears on here, so don't worry, Shelby. I'm gonna have to just wait till the end. But like I said, I'm not really known for the steampunk style builds because they're just not my forte. But I got out of my comfort zone, and just decided to just go ahead and go for it. What was it gonna hurt? Just giving it a shot. And like I said, it took me a few castings to find out exactly what ones I wanted to use and, how I was going to do it and all that stuff. To fit that big engine, I had to do a lot of modifying to the, plastic portion where the fenders and stuff were at. I had to do a lot of filing, a lot of cutting, just to get that engine to fit just right. Because, it's a pretty good sized engine. Yeah, it is. That is no doubt in my mind. But, in order to get it to how I wanted it, it had to be, a lot of stuff had to have been done to it. I ended up actually cutting off the front portion of the casting, and you'll see that here later on. But I wanted to get the engine to fit just right first, so I had to modify the base a little bit as well, just to get it to where it would sit down in there, and just all in all be able to fit right. And luckily enough, after everything was said and done, everything fit perfectly. It had no problems whatsoever. Of course, you had the typical filing, sanding, cutting, just to get everything smooth. And honestly, I didn't really do a lot to the base other than just mock up where the engine was going to go, cut out the rear wheel wells a little more because I ended up putting some off-road style tires on the back. And you'll see those later on. But, I wanted to, like I said, get this portion done first. I wanted to make sure everything was going to fit, but what I was wanting to do, I knew I was going to have to cut the fenders some more. So, see, these tires are the ones I use. They're the oversized off-road tires I got from Sam Ed Wheels. I cut out or marked out where I wanted them to be kind of cut on both sides, just kind of getting the idea of where they're going to go. So, a lot of cutting, a lot of filing, a lot of sun sanding later. I'm kind of modifying or mocking up, just seeing how much more I got to cut, just on this one side. Haven't really done the other side just yet. But I'm making sure it looks decent, it rolls, and yeah, it is a roller. Not a very good one, but it rolls. And just to fit these bigger tires, I had to cut the wheel well out. I had to cut the fenders off a little more and trim it up. And you see a lot of that during this video. But there's nothing wrong with doing a lot of mock-up because it makes sure everything's going to fit right, everything's going to look good, and it's going to be where it's going to be. It happens to sit. Didn't really have to cut too far down. Right now I'm putting using some large paper clips. I bent them to shape. I heated one up to poke holes so I could put them down on top of the fenders and put them over the front of the vehicle. And that was the pretty simple idea, just trying to get everything bent the right shape and right angle, and making sure it didn't go too big or too small. And good thing about having these large paper clips, they can be used for roll cages, they can be used for stuff like this. It's pretty simple stuff to use, paper clips, plus having plenty of them, it really helps. I don't really use them a lot, but I keep them just in case. Because there's been times where I've used, paper clips for axles before because I didn't have none of the axle wire that I use now. And so that's the main reason why I got a lot of paper clips, because honestly, the smaller paper clips will fit through an axle tube. If you don't believe me, try it out after you strip off the rubber coating and stuff. These larger paper clips didn't have the rubber coating, so I didn't have to worry about cutting all that off. And, once I got into the hang of this, like literally, it took me less than 12 hours total to build this thing. Because after I did all the video footage and added it all up, I barely had an hour of video footage. So that's a plus. I kind of smoothed out the base a little bit, and then I put this little styrene right there to kind of block it off. I used some gears that I got from Hobby Lobby as brake rotors, or whatever you want to call them, with some brass tubing. I didn't do my little A-arms thing because I didn't really see the point of doing it on this build. Maybe a rat rod later on down the road or something, I'll probably do that. But, I thought they look cool. They really do look really neat on there, and I like how they look. After I stripped the base with some oven cleaner, I kind of went ahead and added, and you see here the dude, 2 different sizes of wheels, and honestly I like that look. I thought the finished results really look awesome. So I added a little shifter with a little skull on it, just for like kind of a detail thing, and that kind of goes along with what you're going to see in the final results, because I got some 3D printed parts from Shelby's husband Brad over at Full Custom Diecast. He sent me some 3D printed stuff, so yeah, I wanted to use something in here. So you won't see that till the final results though. But I think you're going to like it, because I know I liked it. It fit the theme, and here I am, cutting the front off, and I thought I was going to cut 2 portions of this out, but I didn't end up using the front half of this, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because it looks better without it. Because the way I cut the front base out, or the front little insert, I'm going to say that, the insert, um, it had a spot where it would fit the front half of the casting, but honestly, the way it was going, I didn't need it, so I didn't use it. Like I said, there was a lot of filing, trying to get everything mocked up because I wanted, whenever I got done painting this, and I went a simple colors, so I went pretty much 3 different colors. Well, 4 if you count the interior when I painted the interior. But, just using simple colors that look like a steampunk theme, which was a bronze color and a aluminum color. Those are what I went with for this build. No decals whatsoever. And I really like how, honestly, it really turned out really nice after, I was kind of modifying the windshield a little bit because I wasn't going to have it going over that other half. Like I said, you'll see when you see the final results. So after I'd already got this out of paint, I went a white base, and then I took a wicked aluminum color, painted that on there, and then I started gluing on certain things because honestly I wasn't worried about clear coating the windshield or nothing. It still looks the same. But I had a bunch more of these gears, so I just started kind of randomly putting them on certain spots of the car. And, it was kind of neat how I laid it out. Well, in my eyes, I thought it was pretty neat. But I wanted that one little piece right there on the driver's side kind of got in the way, so I couldn't do what I actually was going to do. But when I added another gear to kind of line up with this big one I got on the back that looks like it's got like a flathead screwdriver tip part in it. Well, I kind of interlocked it with the gear, the larger gear. I interlocked the small one with the big one. Just kind of made it look like they were rotating, or they was kind of working with each other. And steampunk builds, they're not really fancy. So why don't we go ahead and check out what we started off with. I can't remember the name of this casting. Neat little casting. I've done one other like this before. Put 2 engines in it. Honestly, I wasn't happy with that result. So, I tried it again. And I really like how this one turned out. And honestly, I hope you guys do too. Without further ado, let's check out the final results.